Let's crack on. Good morning. So it's logical to start top down. So let's start with the neck. You lift your right arm and cradle the head and just let it drop over to the right. With your left arm, extend out to the side and slowly reach the wall behind you and slowly start to float the arm down. So it's quite a nice way to start the class. So sometimes we've had a busy morning. Just a nice opportunity to tune into any sensations in the body. We're not going to suddenly stand up. We're really nurturing and help your head back up to upright, and let's slowly take it to the other side. So we're gently guiding. I'm not placing weight. I'm definitely supporting the head, letting the right shoulder drop. Maybe then extending, reaching a little bit behind you, and then feeling those lovely sensations on the side of the neck, over the shoulder, and right into the fingertips. Pause. Lovely. Again, support the head back up. And we'll clasp the hands, fingers behind the head, chin to chest, let the elbows drop, and stretching the back of the neck without forcing. Now, if there's no tension there, you may want to take the stretch a little bit further down the spine. So that will mean softening the knees and rounding just the upper back. So imagine you're peeling yourself off the wall behind. Shoulders are well down away from the ears. And we're just looking for sensations, maybe mild discomfort even, for those sensations that you can breathe into and let the sensations start to dissipate. Gorgeous. Slowly standing up, again still holding the head, just drop the head back. Open the chest wide, a little bit of a spine extension, a little bit of a stretch to the front of the throat. And then come back up. Interlace the fingers in front like you're on a beach ball here. Soften the knees and let's take that beach ball over side to side. So I've got my knees bent so that I can really focus on the muscles on the back of the body. You can let the head drop to one side as you take this side to side stretch. Gorgeous. Once more each side, and then we'll extend the spine. So this time we'll be clasping the hands behind the back, rolling the shoulders back and down, actively drawing the shoulder away from the ears, and let's just turn the head gently side to side. Chest open wide, you're squeezing the shoulder blades together. Jaws soft. And then shrug out the arms. Great. Legs wide, feet turned out. Let's use the webbing of the fingers, the hands between the index fingers and the thumbs to place them in the crease at the top of the leg. We're taking the hips over to the right, inner thigh stretch, but keeping the spine long. We'll just take once each side without the arms, just pausing, breathing. And then slowly to the other side. Let's then add on the arms. So here you can keep your hands and hips if it feels more supported, and you can still keep the chest open wide, back and head in line with the back of the pelvis. Or if you feel you've got a bit of strength already in your core, we can hold the head in the hands, adjust the hips over to the right, and we take the side bend a little bit deeper with a little bit more strain, stress onto the core muscles. So the emphasis here is on opening the chest. We have an inner thigh stretch, and we're breathing into the intercostals and feeling the right lung expand. Now, to come up, press the feet into the floor. Imagine you've got suckers on your feet, so you can't actually move them. You're trying to draw left and right heel towards each other. Strongly come up to standing and over to the other side. So hips can adjust to the left, and we take the side bend over to the right. Again, elbows high and wide. Slight tailbone tuck might even give you a nice little bit of a stretch in the front of the hip. You can squeeze the glutes. Try to use the hands on the back of the head to lengthen the neck. Very tempting to start to curl in here. So maybe you can press the back of the head into the fingers. Again, press the feet into the floor. Squeeze the floor with that strong core. Come up to standing. We're now bending this left knee, turning the left knee out towards the left wall. I want to take the side stretch a little bit deeper. So extended side angle here, and we're pausing just for 2 breaths to reach into the fingers with the option of lowering down to the floor. Breathing deeply, chest, almost as though you're trying to turn the ribs up to the ceiling. Now to come up, squeeze the glutes, press into the floor, and see if you can glide up. So even if there's a lot of work going on under the surface, feel as though you're peeling the hands off, coming slowly up to standing. Keep the legs where they are, but just briefly take a counter pose. Leaning back, and we're going again. So wimble those arms down. We're either on the thigh, on the floor. There's an option to place the hand on the little toe side as well. I find this a little bit more challenging to keep the chest open. Let's see where you are in this pose. Arm then over the ear, if you can manage. A breath here, reaching into the fingertips, pressing that back little toe into the floor. So we're not collapsing the arch of the foot. Now again, we press the feet into the floor, we peel the hand off if it's on the floor, and see if we can power with control back up to standing into that counter stretch. So no warning, straight into strong work, but finding length and stretch at the same time. And slowly come up. Let's change the legs. So this time, right toes to the right wall, a bend into the right knee, and we'll take the extended side angle. So we're here, getting the stretch from the fingertips down to that left little toe. So the arch doesn't collapse. We're plugging the whole of the foot down. Option to come down to the floor. Chest open wide, reaching into the fingertips, almost leaning back. That gives you a really nice inner thigh stretch here. And above all, we want the knee tracking over the toes. So leaning the triceps into the knee can help with that. Now, we want the power to come in from a strong foundation. So press the feet into the floor, and we peel the hand off. Feel that strength to come up. Briefly take a counter, side bend. Nice deep breath, release as you lean back, and off we go again. Last time, it's just twice each side. Your version here. Feel that finding a really nice long line from the fingertips into the little toe, chest open wide, gripping the floor, your glutes switched on really strongly, opening the chest like an open twist almost. We're so beautifully sat with the shoulder over the lower shoulder. Again, coming up with control. And float the arms down. Let's toe and heel the feet in to give the legs a little bit of a kick back and a little bit of a shake. We think about the standing saw, but except instead of doing it the Pilates way, which is quite vigorous with a pulse, we're going to use the same strength and find some control, slowing it down. So we take the arms wide. I have a turn out in the hips, toes pointing out wide. So keeping the arms wide, bottom touch, so tailbone pointing down to the floor. We're slowly taking a twist and we're reaching towards the opposite ankle. But if you feel you're not going to be able to stand up very easily from this position, we stay here and then we press into the feet to come up. We'll go side to side so we keep it even. We'll breathe in, the top is a reset, pubic bone curling up to the ribs, shoulders back and down, continuous movement. Taking that hinge from the hips, rotation of the spine, maybe you come to the ankle, maybe you look up at the back hand, but it's all about then finding that strong foundation through from the feet to come up to standing. 2 more, each side. To control it, feel everything engaging here. So the legs are strong, navel to spine, the navel turns, ribs, top shoulder, still reaching right into the fingertips with both hands. The reset, shoulders are back and down. We're opening the arms wide, so think about a wide wingspan here. Breathing deeply, finding that control. Last time each side. Shoulders down, core strong, and off we go. So the back of the hand may reach the outer ankle. That's a nice way of giving you a slightly deeper twist, but just ensuring you're not overdoing it. If you're at the same pace as me last time, over to the right. And then let's slowly release. Great, one more before you close your legs. We're taking that goddess squat, the knees out wide, tracking over the toes. Let's lengthen through the tailbone. Funny thing, how to imagine where a nice position for the head is. Think about gaze out to the horizon, but give me a double chin. So this just ensures that the ear is over the shoulder, so that's a nice position where we want to be. Keep tucking the tailbone under, BWTL arms, remember these. So we reach the arms out, in a wide V, shoulders back and down, slightly rolling the shoulders back. So we're trying to keep the ribs together, navel to spine. And we reach the elbows down, chest open wide, to a W. Now feel the shoulder blades in close. I'm spreading my fingers so the whole chain is active. I'll give you an example of this in a moment, just to make it a little bit more meaningful. Arms in a wide T, thumbs reaching the wall behind, chest open wide, reaching wide. Now the elbows come into the waist without the shoulders dropping. Squeeze. We've got one more. V, shoulders back and down. Squeezing the floor with the toes. Glutes strong, knees, avoiding them dropping forwards. Spread the fingers. Power the elbows down. Chest open, but the abdominals engaged here. Reach to the side walls. And then elbows into the waist. Thumbs to the back wall. Don't heel the feet in. We've got another one standing up. So coming to what will be our plumb line. So feet right under the hips, shoulders back and down. We'll lift the toes so the anterior tibialis muscles, the front of your legs engage to peel the toes up. And then press the toes down. Actively engaging. Now the calf muscles engage. Let's keep the chest open wide. Calf muscles engage and peel the heels up. And then lightly, gently release. Let's try and add on the arms. So we're going into toes lifting. And then the next time we lift the arms, the heels lifting. So what we're trying to achieve here is maintaining that plumb line up through the body, but we're alternating between engaging the fronts of the lower legs and the backs of the lower legs. Once more each side, toes lift up. See here if you can think about engaging the pelvic floor. They're all attached to the same connective tissue, so curling the toes up, we can get that movement, the engagement up the inner thighs, pelvic floor, and then the last time into the calf muscles. So think about the head going directly up to the ceiling, very tempting to swoop forwards and up. So let's see if we can keep that plumb line, ears over the shoulders, as we engage those calf muscles, and we glide up. Here, balls and feet down, and as if the big toes are trying to reach towards each other, pull the adductors, those inner thighs engaged to give you that stability. All right, lower the heels. Feet stay where they are. This time, we're hinging from the hips. So let's start with the arms overhead. And gripping through the outline of the feet. Zip up your core, and we come into a forward fold. Everything stays strong, pulled in. Ribs together, navel to spine, back up to standing. One more like that. Shoulders back and down. Double chin, looking at the horizon. So the same distance between the chin and the chest as we hinge from the hips. As a robotic or mechanical movement, the whole body is engaged to keep everything else still. This time we're coming into a hinge, into a chair. So as we hinge forward, we're coming to maybe a 90-degree angle, but now as the knees bend, we achieve a kind of zigzag line. I can still see my toes, I can even lift my toes and the arms coming slightly in front of the body, shoulders down, ribs together. Now from this position, let's take cactus arms. As if you're holding on to something, grip, open the chest wide, strong arms. Here, again, re-engage the lower abdominal muscles. Take it to airplane arms. We're peeling the shoulders back and back up to standing. Two more like this. We reach overhead, hinging from the hips. Grip the floor, keep strong, everything zipped up here. Same gap between the chin and the chest. Finding a zigzag line, but keep looking at the toes to make sure the knees stay back. Weights into the heels. Take hold of that imaginary pull-up bar, pull it down into a cactus, squeezing the shoulder blades together without flaring. Strong possible core into airplane arms, peeling the shoulders back up to standing last time. Breathe in, breathe out to hinge. Breathe into the zigzag chair. Breathe out cactus arms. Breathe in airplane arms, peeling the shoulders back, and breathe out up to standing. Great, have a little shake out the legs. We'll take a hula hoop in each direction with hips. Okay, nice, easy circle with the hips. Let the head loll. You can let the upper body loll. This is twice in each direction, letting everything soften a little bit. Getting rid of any tension that's been built up from those strong legs and the other way. Lovely. All right, one more before we come down to the mat. That was all very externally rotating in the hip. Now let's think about wrapping the legs. So weight into your left foot, bend the knee, and let's just take a little swing of the left leg. You can skim the floor so you have that balance. You have a finger on the wall or a chair. Keep your plumb line. So it will help with the balance if you keep the head over the ribs. I'm going to have the option to fully wrap the leg into an eagle and unwrap. The main thing is just pausing, however briefly, to get a slight outer hip stretch. So maybe we get this by the toes being on the floor, just holding the outer knee, sinking down a little bit. If there's nothing there, you maybe sink a little bit lower in the full eagle. Try it. Holding onto the wall is not cheating. The last couple of times with this leg, great strengthening from the standing ankle. Beautiful. Let's try the other leg. Shake out. So plant your roots, spread the toes, soften the knee. Let's just free up the other hip. Nice gentle swaying swing. See if you can hook all the toes on the floor and have a go at sinking a little bit lower. Just enjoy what you feel in the hips. You can double hook. You want to work on your balance a little bit. This is great. So you can place your fingers around the hips and get your thumbs right into those glutes. They're working strongly for us here. We keep coming in and out if that's the practice you want to go for today. Whichever you're on, one more, and then we are coming down to the mat. I can't remember what core we did yesterday, but I'm feeling a little bit in the sides. All right, are we good to go? You can take a nice slow roll down to the mat. I'm going to lower the camera, and we're going to start on our backs. So you can start by hugging the knees into the chest, because we'll start with pelvic tilts, and then I'll go on to what's essentially a forest yoga approach to core strengthening. So once you've imprinted the spine, the forest yoga discipline is very keen on very specific stages. So let's start with a pelvic tilt, just so we get that engagement in the core. Keep the back of the neck long, shoulders down. And then we're going to keep that imprint. So we're actually going a little bit beyond neutral spine. Feel that imprint and come to tabletop. If your abs popped out and you arch the back, take the knees a little bit closer in. So I want our starting point for everyone to be a really strong imprint of the lower back into the floor. So the stages are squeeze imprint, so you're pressing your navel into the floor. Create Barbie doll toes. Remember this, I'm lengthening the top of the shin into the top of the foot. I'm just curling the toes up. So once we've imprinted, we have our Barbie doll toes, and we'll extend one leg, and then we'll slowly return to tabletop. We re-imprint navel to spine, and we extend the other leg. Keep that imprint, stretch, and press right into the ball of the foot, and return. Re-imprint, tailbone lengthening towards the bottom edge of your mat, chin still tucked into the chest. Once you've imprinted, we extend, we're going side to side. You hear my voice is so jagged. So much work going on here to maintain that imprint. And even then, when I have to re-imprint, I am having to re-establish that connection between the spine, lower spine, and the mat. So we're going side to side, but be really fussy about the order. So we re-imprint, Barbie doll toes, press through the ball of the foot, and slowly return. Keep going, imprint. I think already you can probably see how easy it will be to skip out that re-imprinting of the lower spine. It can help to even have your hands on your core just to keep that awareness. Re-imprint. Now we're going to take the knees slightly to the side, so think about a 45-degree angle. The knees will fall apart because we've got the hips staying on the floor. So we go off to the side and return. Re-imprint over to the other side. So knees, the toes fall apart as we're keeping the hips level to the floor. And return. Re-imprint side to side. So I won't bore you with the anatomy side of this, but just trust me that by pressing through to the balls of the feet, we're getting much stronger engagement down this chain of leg muscles. So if you keep the shoulders down, are you still imprinting before each movement? One more each side, or level yourself out. Imprint, sway the knees to the side. So here we're loading onto the core muscles. Last time, really imprinting, chin tucked into the chest. And let's take it to the other side. Ah, amazing. Knees into the chest. We'll take a full body stretch before we move on here. Here you can really arch the spine, stretch out those abdominals, spread the toes. And let's take hip circles. Hands on the knees, knees into the chest, knees out wide. Feet come together like in a sit-to-back mouse, and the knees come together. So using the hands, or circle the knees to add a slightly deeper stretch. And the other direction, knees forwards, feet find the floor, knees out wide, and then draw in towards the armpits. Last few times. What was I going to do? Oh, yes. Then we're rolling onto our bellies. So let's think cobra press-ups. So from your bellies, let's have the hands out a little away from the shoulders. Point the toes, and we're going to squeeze the legs together. So let's get those into thighs, toes, strength. Forehead to the floor. Either fingertips or hands flat, but gets the shoulders down away from the ears, a squeezing of the pencil between the shoulders, and engagement through the whole of the hand. So keeping the legs squeezed together, keep your bum pressed into the floor. We're lifting, not too far, more just lifting enough that you can squeeze the shoulder blades together, squeeze the shoulder blades down towards the waist, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the legs together, and slowly float the forehead back down. Throughout the shoulders stay down away from the ears. We're going for slow control. We're going for length, not height. So not interested in you coming all the way up and extending the spine. Keep it nice and low and think about length. So as I press into the hands, shoulders are down, top of the head to the wall in front of me, toes reaching the wall behind. Twice more and then we take a child pose. You can play around with where you place the hands. If you're finding it hard to roll the shoulders back, you can play around with the placement of the hands. Okay, last one, so you can give an extra squeeze of the legs together. Squeeze, and then take it all the way back to a child pose. So sitting back on the heels, stack the hands and have a little shake. Right. So to finish, rounding off, we're coming onto all fours, untuck the toes. Let's take one round with cat-cow. So breathing in, looking up, stick the chin out, nice stretch for the throat muscles. And then chin to chest, round the back. Little stretch here. Let's step the left foot forwards. We're in a knee lunge. And now if we walk the foot to the outer edge of the mat, and hopefully mirroring you, and we're just going to circle the hip. See how I'm drawing the outline of the foot, so you're not leaving the foot flat. This means the toes can move, adjust and keep in line with the knee as you take those hip circles. Almost pivoting on the ball of the foot, then the toes. Once more, maybe taking the knee out a little bit wider, pausing, and then we'll give it a little hamstring stretch. So we extend the heel out in front. This is a little bit tight. Maybe you come upright. Blocks are quite handy here under the hand. Or a couple of cushions. And then just take a moment to breathe into the back of the leg. So hip circle on the other leg. Hamstring stretch. And a quick stretch of the triceps. So good, squeeze into the back of the leg, and then let's come back to all fours. Little sway of the hips, and then let's step your other foot forwards. Take it out to the outer edge of your mat if you're on one, and then we can just use the hand on the knee to guide the hip into these circles. So anywhere between lunging and getting a hip flexor stretch on your extended leg, and just exploring the hip socket of the front leg. Also just working through the muscles of the foot. Let's have one more on this side, maybe pausing in that inner thigh stretch, pressing the heel into the hand, of the hand into the inner knee. Breathing, no forcing, no forcing. To be an enjoyable stretch, and then take it into the hamstring. So the leg straightens, maybe fingertips need to come to the floor for balance. Almost anteriorly, forward tilting the pelvis to get that true stretch down the back of the leg. Otherwise we can end up just hunching and flexing forward. So if you can keep this all about the hamstrings without forcing. Breathe in deeply. You're nearly there. We'll join each other kneeling down, just so we can make sure the deltoids, triceps are nicely stretched. Let's rebend that front knee. Come onto your heels or in a comfortable sitting position. Let's extend the right arm, take it across the body, and hooking underneath, gently prise the arm out to the socket, but then lean back. So you're creating space here, and you may get some nice stretches in the top of the shoulder. Shoulders down, smile, your hard work is done. So while you're stretching, let me just explain about this stretch a little bit into the Barbie doll ball of the foot. Or when I'm saying stretches the fingertips, so slowly roll the shoulders and take it across the other side. So extend the left arm and gently pull out. You can have a little experiment here. If, for example, I have a floppy hand, you keep doing your deltoids, don't stop as I have. If you gently pull your finger out of the socket, you can feel there's some movement there, you're creating space. However, if I tense up that finger and then try to pull, there's no movement. So the whole chain is involved, it's supporting that joint, and that's where when I'm stretching and really active to the fingertips, it's much stronger for the whole chain, whole kinetic chain's engaged and getting stronger, and then we're not overloading any area of soft tissue. We're just going to roll out the shoulders, and then you're done. Nice deep breath in, opening the arms wide, any movement through the head, feel nice for the neck, all encouraged, like a big morning yawn. Elbows into the waist, long neck, and last time. Nice deep breath in, and breathe out. It's half an hour.